Hey everyone, welcome to the WestMET Community Fund Grant Writing Workshop. This is for spring 2026. My name is Emily and I'm the Grants and Communications Coordinator at the Community Foundation of Southeastern Alberta. In the spirit of respect and truth, we acknowledge the many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples who have lived in and cared for these lands for generations. We are grateful for the traditional elders and knowledge keepers who are still with us today and for those who have gone before us. So I'm just going to get started in the presentation here. So this is an agenda of what we're going to go through today. So just about us as an organization, about WestMET Group, the WestMET Community Fund, eligibility for the grant, the application process for the grant, and tips and tricks for grant writing. So just a little bit about us as the Community Foundation of Southeastern Alberta. So our mission is kind of these three pillars. So we grow by engaging donors with causes they're really passionate about to build permanent endowments. And that is how we're able to give out grants, is through those donors. We also give. So as you know, we distribute investment earnings to a broad range of community initiatives, including our grant cycles. And then we also inspire by connecting issues, convening partners, and developing community-based solutions. So next, I'm going to talk a little bit about WestMET Group. So WestMET is leading the energy transition through the development of advanced agricultural products, environmental services, and emerging energy technologies. And their slogan there is very similar to ours, funny enough. It's today, tomorrow, always. And then I have a little link at the top here. It says for more information, visit westmetgroup.com if you want to find out a little bit more about them. Now, WestMET Group Canada, they established the WestMET Community Fund with an initial $42,880 donation to the Community Foundation of Southeastern Alberta, and they have committed to providing an annual gift to cfsea for 25 years. So each year, part of the donation will go directly towards this community grant cycle, while the rest will be invested in the endowment fund. So this new grant stream will support local initiatives and community-based organizations for the people of Special Areas 2, the Town of Hanna, and the Village of Youngstown for years to come. Now we're going to go over the community fund itself. So like I said, that they have committed to providing an annual gift to cfsea for 25 years, and that it'll support and benefit the people of Special Areas 2, Special Area 2, Hanna and Youngstown. So this spring, the total available funds for the WestMET Community Grant are $18,730. I'm going to go through who can apply. So for organizations, you have to be within the boundaries of Special Area Number 2, Hanna and Youngstown. We also give to qualified donees. So that would be registered charitable organizations, municipalities, and school divisions. Now, if you're a nonprofit group in Alberta and currently in good standing and have existed for at least 5 years, you can request up to $5,000 without completing a declaration of affiliation. So if you are not listed as a qualified donee, so by the CRA, so that would be those registered charitable organizations, municipalities, and school divisions, you can still apply up for $5,000. Now, if you are a nonprofit group that is not a qualified donee, you can still apply for more than $5,000. How to do this is by completing a declaration of affiliation, and it is a document that connects basically a qualified donee, such as, again, a charity, municipality, or school division, with the non-qualified donee, is what the CRA calls it, to receive funds on the behalf of the nonprofit. So in addition to signing the declaration of affiliation, the qualified donee will also have to share their more recent year's financial statement and a list of board members with their contact information. So the nonprofit and non-qualified donee must also demonstrate that the funds are being used for the intended charitable activities for their organization. If you have any questions about this, again, you're more than welcome to reach out to Helen or myself. Again, my name is Emily, and we can walk you through the process as well. Okay, so we'll go through some DEI processes that we use at the Community Foundation. So we will provide technology support, such as one-on-one instructions for individuals maybe not accustomed to digital platforms or uncomfortable with digital platforms. That way we can honor oral practices and accommodate any technical or physical barriers. So we will actually accept recorded oral applications, and the deadline to conduct an oral application is March 21st. Actually, I have it listed as March 20th. So it will be March 20th. I believe that is a Friday. If you require any recorded oral application accommodation, please just get in touch with our office as soon as possible, and then we can set that up for you. Ongoing support is just also provided throughout the entire process. So that's from the letter of intent all the way up to the final report, which is 12 months after you receive your funds. It would be a follow-up document. So we really provide help from start to finish here. So don't hesitate to reach out if there's anything that we can do to help, or if you just need to talk through your application. We're happy to help with that as well. So what we will fund. So the grants may be used to support any capital, operating, any programs that your organization has, or maybe special one-time costs. So that could be for an event, for example, within the following priority focus areas. So the focus areas are supporting First Nations and Métis individuals or the collective as a group, youth and education, local communities, health and wellness, and environmental. I'll go through the list here. So First Nations and Métis. So grants will be distributed to causes that benefit First Nations and Métis, whose traditional territory is within the municipalities listed before. So that'd be Special Area 2, the Town of Hanna, and Youngstown. So special attention will be given to programs that have been identified by area First Nations and Métis communities. Second is local communities. So grants will be distributed to geographic communities that are within close proximity to the Landfind Wind Energy Project. These grants may be used for events, facilities, programs, and organizations that support building strong and vibrant communities. Next is environmental. So grants will be distributed to initiatives and programs that support community action on ecological preservation, restoration, land stewardship, and education. Youth education. So grants will be distributed to programs and organizations that are working within the municipalities to meet the needs of children and youth development through education, recreation, safety, and then special attention will be given to programs that build individual and community-based leaders. And then finally, we have health and wellness. So grants will be distributed to organizations that are working proactively on building and supporting individual and community health and wellness. Special attention will be given to programs that are working collaboratively on finding ways to support families by acknowledging the importance of the social determinants of health. I also want to note, a lot of people ask us, what's the difference between capital costs, operating costs, etc. So capital costs are really any long-term expenses. So that'd be like any buildings, equipment, vehicles, that type of project. Operating costs are kind of your day-to-day expenses. So that'd be salaries, for an employee that you have to run the program, any rent, utilities, etc. And again, if you have any questions on this, please reach out to our office and we're more than happy to help. So what we won't fund. So here's a list of things that CFSEA will not fund. In addition to this, you cannot spend the money before you receive approval that you've been selected. So that's not planning or anything, and not planning like the project ahead of time, spending money that we haven't allocated yet, which could also be considered retroactive funding, anything politically purposed, any debt reduction, direct religious activities, and fundraising campaigns or endowments. So here's a checklist that you've made before you start your application or your letter of intent. So before you apply, make sure you ask yourself, are you a registered charity with the Canada Revenue Agency, aka the CRA? So that would be a municipality, a school division, or a registered charity. If not, and you are applying for over $5,000, do you have an affiliate? Does your project align with one of the top 5 priority areas that we mentioned before? And just be prepared to provide your audit, financial statements, and operating budget for the current year. We also require those to be signed by at least 2 signing authorities from your board of directors, so that's something to keep in mind. And then we ask that you prepare your project budget. So if you're applying for equipment or infrastructure, additionally, you'll have to acquire multiple quotes to demonstrate the price. We mentioned the budget on the last slide there, and I'm going to go over the budget template. So this total amount that we have to give this cycle is $18,730, and that's for all applicants. Each applicant may request the amount needed for their project. However, we do encourage applicants to almost right-size their request to align with the total funds available and just the number of anticipated applicants. So partial funding may be awarded based on available resources and overall project strength. So you first want to title the budget with your project name at the top here where the first arrow is pointing. We're asking that you include all of the expenses and sources of revenue associated with the project in the first amount column. So this would be considered the first amount column. Then you'll use the second amount column here, and that's to show which items your grant from CFSEA will cover. So this is helpful if the grant request is part of maybe a larger project where you need extra funds, or for example, if it's a renovation for a kitchen and our grant might be covering a new fridge, a new oven, etc. So in this example, the agency is asking for $5,000 from CFSEA and providing $1,000 from their own agency's fundraiser, and that would be a total revenue of $6,000. So we just ask that you add any description and notes in the second column. So for right here, the support from your agency, they noted that the extra $1,000 here came from a raffle fundraiser, and it just helps our committee better understand your project. Your total income line, just at the bottom here, will automatically add up. So these ones should all add up together to kind of get your total income at the bottom. If this is a smaller project and you have no other sources of income, we see this often too, where the grant is, just from what we are giving. So you might not have any of these added, just the grant requested from CFSEA. In that case, these 2 lines will be the same. And again, if you're confused about any part of this, please reach out to either Helen or I, and we're more than happy to walk you through it. So next, let's go over the budget expenditures. So this is going to be on the same page that the project revenue was on. So yeah, this is the project expenditure section. So we want you to explain your program costs and just add descriptions in the second column as well. The total expenses will add up for you too. So you'll notice it's kind of the same process. As you fill in information, the expenses at the bottom here will automatically add up. One thing that I always like to note is administrative expenses. You'll notice this little red tick here. And when you hover over it on the Excel sheet, it will say that only 10% of the grant requested. So let's say Again, like use this example, you're requesting $5,000 from us. So only $500 from the grant would be able to use. That's 10% of $5,000. As you can see, the organization decided to use its $1,000 earned through fundraising to increase the amount to $1,500. Maybe building, rental, and mileage is a little bit more expensive. I just noticed that mileage is spelled incorrectly, but you get the gist. And then the net income, so the final row here, will equal 0 if you filled this budget out correctly. If you notice that they don't equal 0 at the bottom here, that is okay. Again, connect with Helen or I, and we're happy to work with you on this. Budgets can definitely be tricky, but they're just so important for our committee to understand your requests correctly. So if you are struggling or you have any questions, please reach out to either Helen or me. So completing your application. So there are things that need to be attached, like the budget and audited financials. So if you're having issues, again, please connect with our office. We encourage applicants to connect with our office, even if you'd like to discuss your project idea or if you have any issues throughout the application process, not just for the budget or audited financials. We'll connect you with the committees if they have any additional questions after the application has been reviewed. Sometimes the committees have additional questions that maybe weren't in the application, and so we'll send those through and then pass them along to our committee to help them understand your project a little bit better and clearer. So to complete the application, it will be through our online granting portal, and that's available on our website and the WestMET page, likely where you click this video. It opens on March 2nd, 2026, and that'll be at noon. And then the deadline for that is March 26, 2026 at 4:30 p.m., and I believe that is a Friday. Upon receipt of your application, additional information may be required. And again, that is maybe the committees having additional questions. So this is what our grant portal looks like. It is called Grant Lifecycle Management. You might hear us refer to it as GLM. You'll see this page. Now, if you already have a profile on the grant platform, please don't create a new one. And if you aren't sure if you're not sure or unable to log in, just give us a call and maybe we can support you. If you forget your password, this happens a lot, even to me, then you'll want to just reset your password by clicking Forgot Your Password, and it will email the account that you have signed up with originally. If you are a new user, so you've never applied for a grant through the Community Foundation of Southeastern Alberta, or it's been a while, maybe you sent it in before and we didn't have our portal, then you'll also need to create a new account. If you're not a registered charity, so that would be a grassroots organization or a nonprofit, then please leave the spot for the CRA number blank. Okay, so the application review process. So your application is reviewed by a local committee. So it's an advisory committee made up of a few people from both WestMET, cfsea, and then also local residents as well that really understand the area and the priorities in the area. So they'll review the applications and recommending for funding. So they'll make the recommendations on who gets what. And then afterwards, it goes to the board of directors. So the advisory committee will present the funding recommendations to the board for final approval. And that's when we're able to make our announcements and contact the organizations that, yes, you are getting funding. So the timeline on this. So there's March 2nd, obviously, when the grant applications opened or will open, and then March 26th when the applications close, and that'll be at 4:30 p.m. I always like to note this, there will be no extensions on this. So please make sure that you have everything answered, that you have all the information together, and that you have submitted before 4:30. We're not able to open the application again after it's been closed. And then once final decisions have been made, when the local committee reviews the applications, the board of directors approves everything, we make the announcements to the successful candidates, and funds are distributed in late May. So they're finalized approximately, I would say, 6 weeks of the application deadline. So notifications are first made by through phone and then through email. So no matter if you are chosen to receive a grant, if maybe you're unsuccessful this time, you will hear back from us no matter what. Now let's go over some general tips on grant writing. So when it comes time for a committee to evaluate the applications, there are many things they consider. My first recommendation is always refer to the grant guideline documents. That is really going to come in handy, and it is really your cheat sheet when it comes to your application for a grant. Make sure you simplify and use bullet form. Some grant writers mention not having enough room on some of the questions, or that they feel like it cuts them off after a certain point. But we truly do want bullet point answers. It's straight to the point, and it's very easy for committee members to read and really get a general understanding. I know this can be hard, especially if you're passionate and you really want to get into details about your project, but the committees will ask questions. And if there is anything that you feel like should be included that's maybe not in our application process, again, you can always reach out to Helen or I for this. So using numbers when showcasing impact, this is one of the most critical things that we like to mention. So for example, how many people are going to be impacted? How many events per year will use this equipment if you're applying for a capital or equipment project? I want you to think about the trickle-down impact for sure. And then highlighting partnerships. So look for community partnerships to integrate with, or funding partners. There's also an option in the application to get letters of support. That could be like a business that thinks your program is amazing and really wants you to get this grant, then that's helpful. It could be participants of the program, or just general supporters of your program that want to see you get funded for this and have that program or project in the area. Probably tired of hearing me say it, but please connect with the office. If you're not sure of the meaning of a question, please just ask. We are here to help you, and we want your application to be as successful as possible. We truly mean that. And that is it. So thank you for listening to the presentation. I truly hope that this was helpful. Again, here is our information if you would like to contact us for additional details. So this is my information. Again, I'm Emily. I'm the Grants and Communications Coordinator. My email is grants@cfsea.ca, and this is our general office number. We also have Helen. She knows the area very well. She's a regional development coordinator and really spearheads the WestMET Grant Community Grant. So her email is helen@cfsea.ca, and this is her cell phone number, just in case she is not in the office and serving one of our regions. So again, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Good luck.